Last night was glue this bugger up, the fingerboard to the neck, and scrap pieces of wax paper under here to protect the table. There's several ways I do this, and this one, well, for whatever reason, I C-clamped it. One of the other ways I do it is hockey tape, believe it or not. And what I do is loosen kind of evenly. I don't want these to be too loose while these down here are still clamping real heavily. So I just kind of go, I'm actually tightening, actually go back and forth. And gradually loosen. Loosen them up. I don't want, like this being loose and the one next to it clamping and actually breaking the bond back out potentially. It probably wouldn't happen, but for this part of the fingerboard, I try to kind of dense it, but that's the same radius as the frets. And this is actually how I used to radius and sand the fingerboards, but it just isn't an accurate way to do. Now I do it on the machine. I try to use as much hand tools as possible. I actually prefer it and enjoy it, but a handful of machines I have, there's quite a benefit to it with accuracy. And on the bottom of the neck caul kind of support it that way. I made these up on the table, so I actually had a video on that. Okay, see what kind of mess we got. I used to run painter tape down here and then leave it like this overnight, but the glue would just harden up over the painter tape, and then now you have glue and painter tape to clean up. It is not a whole lot of a benefit to it, but there's still a couple soft spots. But that's our bugger there. And have a bunch of blending in to do here, you see. And these are locator pins. They're the material you commonly see on the side of the neck for the dots. And I just drill little holes, and then there's two down here. These will be visible and sanded flush, but these will be hidden. They'll be under the nut. That slips in there when that's finished cut. When it's all done, got our truss rod in there. We're going to clamp this in and clean all this up. And I'm going to use files. And this is a card scraper or cabinet scraper. It's a curious thing. They tend to have a lip on it, like a burr. Kind of like when you open a soup can, you don't want to rub your knuckle on it and it'll cut you. But you have to maintain these burrs. And the way I do that is, some people will take them to a grinder, but if you heat that metal up, it'll harden. It'll like temper it if it turns purple. So I use a file, and it keeps it straight. Oh yeah, yep, nice burr on there. There's different styles. Here's one you can imagine, you know, and they come in different sizes. We're putting the final shape on like a violin or my carved top guitars. I use this a lot, and it's the same thing, has a burr. You have to maintain all the way around. So we got that all set to go. We're gonna clamp this. I made this neck caul up on the table saw out of maple for various things, and what I'll do is maybe hold it in there if I have enough access to actually work on that, and then so I don't harm the face, this is the radius of the frets to protect that. I might only be able to use this one though, because I have to be able to get in there to get the glue out. But this is wood. I put this extension on here just for this sort of thing. There we go. That's a good start. And feels like a guitar neck, by golly. I'll round. I tend to round the bottom side over a little more. Kind of a unique shape. They're kind of my necks are kind of a D shaped as opposed to the C, like a baseball bat. I don't know. I'm very particular about my necks. There's a certain way I want them to feel. People love it. Pick my guitars up and end up wanting to purchase them. You know, they're, oh, those are pretty, but you know, you actually pick it up and play it, and it's just, it all makes sense. That's all I can say about that. Next, I'm gonna situate this bugger in here just to kind of help hold it. We're gonna shape this and blend it in a little bit better now that everything's permanently bonded together. I like to use different size dowel rods, and sometimes files. I've already used a file after carving it with some of my carving tools, but you have to watch. You can't just go tearing into it, because you're going to make a dip. You're going to make a thin spot right across here. It has to blend in without no speed bumps. And well, I'm going to do that now. Okay, that's pretty good for now. Got the glue. You know, still have to blend this actually all the way down, and do that with files and then card scrapers. Anytime you see anything I make, chances are the last thing that touched it was not sandpaper. I don't use sandpaper a whole lot. It works out really well on a dowel rod here, but like I said, if you spend too much time and you're thinking like, oh, I'm getting it round, and then you look, and then you actually created a valley right here. And on this, that's the last thing you want. These strings are pulling, wanting to snap that already. You don't want that weakened, and it looked bad. You know, you put clear coat on it and you see the reflection. If there's a big valley all the way through there, you want it to flow just nice. And next we're going to cut with a handsaw, my old fret saw, before I hit the fret slotting table, where the nut's going to go, and chisel that out. And these again are just locator pins. When you go to wood glue stuff up, it wants to slip and slide. There's several ways around that. You could literally sprinkle salt down there and give it some bite so your two surfaces won't move. In this case, I just used locator pins on the other end, and locks it in exactly where I want it to go, and it won't move, and I could just focus on clamping it. Nice.